was one of the first times it actually felt intentional that everything's connected. You know,
Yeah.
throwing Ki-Adi-Mundi in the Acolyte is pretty low level effort to try and make everything connected. With how the last couple episodes finish with Mon Mothma's speech, even that appeared in Rebels, unless that's what you're talking about. But it was altered. People think that it's either, I mean, obviously Rebels was made like 10 years ago and Andor is made now, and maybe they just didn't want the same script or didn't want to be confined.
Yeah.
But they're similar enough where it seems like they're the same, but the Empire changed up, like edited certain parts out. We don't know if that's the in-universe reason,
Yeah.
but they're a little bit different. Anyways, those correlate. Obviously, the end is leading straight into Rogue One. There's just so much that feel like it's setting up an uh, amazing movies that have already happened. With Rogue One coming out, what was it, 2015, and The New Hope coming out in 1977. Like it all kind of flows together. What Rogue One did to set up A New Hope 40 years later is what Andor did for Rogue One, which did for A New Hope, which I think is crazy. I've heard people say that in their mind, Andor is now mandatory viewing for
Oh,
watching
yeah.
through Star Wars. And
I agree.
I want to run something past you really quick because
Yeah.
we're talking about Star Wars. I don't remember who's. Oh, it's the Superman, David Cornsweet, who is a huge nerd. He says that the proper viewing for Star Wars is A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi. Because he treats the prequels as a flashback after the big reveal of 5 to have that story explained before Luke is like talking to Force Ghost Obi-Wan and saying, but I thought this, and he's like, well, from a certain point of view, into the climax of the end of the 6 movies. Now I bring that up because now if in this theoretical David Cornsweet viewing of the movie, of the movies in the franchise, how would it feel to watch Andor season 1, season 2, Rogue One into the rest of the movies? Obviously, the most momentum would probably be Andor season 2, episode 10 through 12, through the end of A New Hope. That's your biggest momentum. It's basically all the same week. And so I don't know, maybe if you're, I know most people would start with A New Hope because that's the first one. That makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But if you're like going for that flashback style of viewing, what if you just watched it in that order? I think that would be an interesting concept, and maybe a test to do on someone.
That's interesting. I'm trying to think of it like with the view of somebody who knows very little when it comes to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the things again that I think is great about Andor and that they've kind of continued in this second season is like the line between good and bad is muddied. We don't really have like we know because we've watched Star Wars before. We know the Empire is bad and the Rebels are the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think unfortunately Star Wars has like pervaded into most of our culture, and now most people kind of understand that's the way it works. But like if you take somebody who doesn't know very much about Star Wars at all, and you put them into that, and they watch Andor into Rogue One, like I think they will still think that the Rebellion are the good guys, but I think they go into A New Hope and Empire with a definitely a different viewpoint of the universe, and they go into it with a view more of like they understand more of like a common soldier rather than that of like the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. So you think that the worldview of our real world affecting how Andor was written, which is good, it's not wrong to have written it that way, changes the way you watch something from the 70s, because they had a more just heroic, good versus evil, Jedi versus Sith, Luke versus Darth Vader. I think, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the original 3 were very much like the hero's journey. Um, Like it you can very clearly, and like you can see the hero's journey in almost every single like honestly the hero's journey is a whole style of like genre basically.
I know.
But
Yes.
um but Andor feels a lot less like it, as does Rogue One. It feels more
Mm.
nitty gritty. It feels like you've just been kind of plopped into a universe. And then we get to see like the hero's journey development. I don't know. It's I, it'd be an interesting like if everything that I knew about Star Wars was deleted and you told me this is the order in which you should watch it, I'd be intrigued. I'd be
Yeah.
intrigued to see how that would end up.